So he was telling us, oh, I bought the bike a year ago. Oh, I bought it 6 months ago, 3 months ago, 3 weeks ago. And then he shows me the actual message, and it was from last week.
About a month ago, our friend Jake Hobbs from Berkeley came to Los Angeles. He was here for like work-related business, and he brought his bike because he wanted to ride with us when he had some free time. He had his bike with him. We had all these rides planned. We were gonna go to Crystal Lake and Baldy Village. So we were gonna pick a nice ride for him. So the day before we were supposed to ride, he sends us a message and he's like, you know what? My bike got stolen. They had this big truck where they had all their equipment for work. They had speakers and laptops. He had his bike in there.
They had it parked overnight in a downtown area. And I think they were having to feed the meter. So someone was having to wake up every couple hours. So they were checking on it like every 2 hours or so. And the one time when someone checked on it, they saw that it got broken into. And yeah, his biggest thing, like he didn't know how they could have even gotten it out of the back because there wasn't enough space, but they must have taken the stem or the handlebar off.
They had tools, or I mean, they were prepared. These thieves knew what they were doing. And so then what happened next? He told us he wasn't gonna be able to ride with us. He went back to Berkeley, and then he like posted the bike on some like stolen bike forum or website.
Right.
And it's really funny because he didn't find the bike. Some random person messaged him. I guess this person was like looking at this website of stolen bikes, and then he looked at other websites like Craigslist, OfferUp, and he found his bike. So he sends him a message and he's like, hey, I found your bike on OfferUp. And Jake didn't even know what OfferUp was. That's the funny thing.
Yeah, ultimately someone else found it, messaged him, hey, you know, I found your bike. I'm gonna message the guy, see, you know, if we can arrange a meeting and maybe have the police meet him there instead. But soon after they found it the first time, it was posted that it was already sold.
What are the chances that you're gonna find your stolen bike on OfferUp and then the next day,
it's already gone? Yeah. Yeah. So at that point, I think everyone thought it was just gone forever. The person who found it the first time messaged him again.
He's
maybe
like, your bike's up again.
Yeah, a couple weeks later, messaged him again, and you know, the first time it was kind of a wait just getting the police to respond, and so we called them. You know, we told them, hey, our friend had his bike stolen. We've got a report.
So we wanted the police to be there, but they're like, no, we don't have like reasonable suspicion that this guy stole the bike, so we can't show up.
Right.
What?
And of course, we're trying to get everything done as quickly as possible because we don't want this person to sell the bike again.
So we're like, we're just gonna show up and, you know, check out the situation. If it seems dangerous, we're just gonna not buy the bike. We're just gonna show up and see what happens, play it by ear. I was really nervous. I remember I was like shaking in the car as we were driving to Santa Clarita. I was like, and he's like, you need to calm down. I'm like, I can't, like, I was shaking. And then I had my pepper spray with me.
Right.
I was like, I need to go with you because it's better to have two people there than just, you know, you by yourself.
Yeah.
And so we're in the car, we're driving there, we're waiting for the guy. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to live stream this because we'll have more people watching. If anything goes down, like people will know. And we did call your parents, we called some friends. We told a lot of people what we were doing, but I was like, no, I'm gonna live stream. I had my fanny pack like buckled across my chest, and I had the iPhone there. So I was telling the people like, okay, I'm gonna recover my friend's bike, da da da. And then I'm like, I'm so nervous, and I have my pepper spray. I was showing them, and so we see the guy show up, and I'm nervous. I'm shaking. He's like, you're gonna blow off the cover. So I get off the car with the pepper spray in my hand. I was like, I hope he didn't see me with the pepper spray. I was that nervous that I forgot to put it in my pocket, but I don't think he saw. So he gets out of the car, and yeah, he was like, you know, he looked my size. I'm like, if anything goes on, I can take this guy down. So I was like,
you got 2-on-1 here.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Let's see, we, you know, walked over to the bike. I asked if she could test ride it. And
you asked general question, like, how long have you had this bike for? He said a year. So right there, our friend had it missing for like a week?
It was at that point it was like maybe a month or so. His story kept changing throughout. First he told us that he had the bike a year, then he said like 6 months, and he said 3 months, and then you know, eventually it just kept changing and changing, getting shorter and shorter. So that was, you know, the first sign of suspicion that this guy's probably actually in on it. Not that he, you know, maybe bought the bike from someone else and then is trying to sell it without knowing it was stolen.
And we had a lot of proof. We had the serial number. We had the Stages Ant Plus ID. We had a lot of pictures. We had a bunch of, you know, evidence. And so he tells me to go test ride it, and I'm riding the bike, and I have the people in the live stream on my chest, and I'm like, oh my God, I have the bike in my hands. Like, this is so awesome. I just wanted to, like, I was happy to have it. So as I'm coming back to meet them, I hear you say, you know, the thing is, and my heart just like dropped. He's like, this is actually my friend's bike. And I was like, oh my God, how is this guy going to react? And you couldn't really tell because he had the mask on. I don't know if he was like surprised or if he was shocked, scared. We don't, he just didn't say anything. He was just quiet. Well, I wanted to tell him, look, this is my friend's bike. I'm taking it. I just wanted to like, But you were very composed and calm.
Yeah, you probably would have ripped it out of his hands and hit him on the head or something.
Drama queen. But you were like, he was very, you played it really well. He was like, look, this is a situation for you and it is for my friend as well, but you know, this is a stolen bike and you probably don't want to have like stolen property. You don't want to be selling stolen property. You were kind of like talking him into like convincing him to give us the bike. And then
at first he, you know, he didn't want to give it over. I showed him all of the evidence, the receipts, the pictures, and basically everything that we had.
Like, no, I paid a lot of money for this. He had an accent. It was kind of hard to understand what he was saying. He's like, I paid a lot, and I don't know. I bought. I don't know. He just kept saying, I don't know. Like, this is my.
And at this point, we knew that he was in on it because he had been changing his dates. But I didn't want to let him know that we knew that he was on it because I didn't want him to get aggressive or anything towards us. So I wanted to make it seem like, hey, you know, it really sucks for you. But you know, you're in possession of stolen property and you don't want to be in possession of stolen property. Like that's not going to be good for you. And clearly this bike was our friend's because we had all the evidence. So I was kind of getting him in the idea of, you know, the best thing to do is just to give us the bike. And so eventually I just offered to him, you know, let's just call the police. Since you don't want to turn it over before having them tell you that you have to turn it over, let's call them and they'll get here and they'll tell you, okay, you have to give us the bike. So he said, okay. And I called them. We waited a good half hour probably for them to show up.
And the police station was only like a couple blocks away. Right? At this point, I'm like, okay, I'm going to take the phone out of my pocket and just tell people that I have the bike to see his reaction.
It was a couple miles, but it wasn't, it was 5 minutes away and it took them 30 minutes to get there probably.
And then Jake was there. So I'm like, Jake, I found your bike. It's here. And the guy was like seeing this. So he was I don't know. I couldn't tell, but I think he was very like nervous. Like, I have your bike, here it is. I'm showing him, and everybody's like, oh, just punch him in the nuts and run away with it. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. We're waiting for the police, and everybody was there waiting with us, right?
Everyone's watching.
They wanted to know what was gonna happen.
For the outcome. I guess the police eventually got there. They kind of told us, we're not gonna arrest the guy, which I knew that they wouldn't because they didn't have any evidence themselves. They didn't even check our evidence to make sure it was his bike. They just, like, we told them that we had the evidence and they just kind of believed it.
They pretty much heard the same story that we're telling you. And they're like, oh, okay, so this is your friend's bike. You bought this bike and it was stolen. So yeah, you can take the bike. And he's like, they can take the bike? Yeah, they can take the bike. And he just took our number. They took the guy's number and that's it. We gave them a police report number.
I don't think they even actually asked for his ID or anything. They just asked for his name and his number. So would have been very easy to fake that, but
I did take a picture of the guy's license plates, and I have the video of what happened. So
and according to what the police said, you know, which was the same idea that we had, the bike likely by the time he got it had already changed hands a few times.
We put the bike in the car and we're driving home with them. We were so, he's like, what's my next mission or something?
I think I said, let's go find another one.
Let's go find another one.
Because it just felt so great to get that back for our friend, you know.
He was really happy. He's like, oh, I'll pay you guys. We're like, no, what you have to do is get your ass down here and we're gonna go take you on that ride that we promised you. And he did. He came and we took him to Malibu and we rode some of the nice roads over there.